Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I have with me the Ducati Monster 937. Now you're looking at this motorcycle probably and you're thinking to yourself, I want to see a review for this one, and you'll get it soon. But right now let's talk about the Ducati. So I've had this motorcycle for about 1,000 kilometers, which is about I think 400 miles maybe. Sorry if I'm wrong about it, but basically I wanted to share with you my thoughts, how I felt about it, how the ride was, and what do you think about the whole motorcycle. I mean, it's a Ducati, it should be good, right? So not everything is perfect, but it's a good motorcycle. So let's start, shall we? So first of all, let's talk about price and looks. So it's Ducati, so it must be beautiful, right? It's Italian handcraft, and it does everything, and it looks beautiful. While being in the parking garages, people come to you and say to you and your friend with the Harley and the Ducati, they'll come to you and say, wow, what a beautiful bike. Now, they are not talking about the Harley, they're talking about the Ducati, because Ducati is Ducati. Price-wise, where I'm from, this motorcycle costs well above $20,000. Somewhere about that area. So it's a pretty pricey motorcycle. It's not for everyone. I'm not sure where you're from and if you're watching this video, but it's kind of an expensive motorcycle. And if you're looking at prices, you have the MT-09 and you have Duke 790 or the 890. You'll probably even get the CB 750, some of those, but it's not really 900. So basically, it fights against really known motorcycles. Also, the Z900, I forgot all about it. It fights against well-renowned motorcycles, and it's a pretty new version. I think it's 2 years old, maybe I'm wrong. But for the price, it's a little bit extra, and I don't know why, but I really liked enjoying riding it. Let's talk about seat height and what the seat feels like. So I'm not the tallest guy. I'm 170 on a good day, and I'm reaching to the ground really nicely. Now I'm without the jack, it's lifted. I have both of my legs on ground and it feels solid. I rode this motorcycle for well over 1,000 kilometers, again more than 400 miles, and the only pain that I had was around this area. I don't know why, but for after the 300 kilometers, I just felt the pain and I couldn't sit on many seats afterwards. So it's something that you should get used to, but it's not the worst seat that I had sitting on. So about the motorcycle dashboard or data cluster, however you want to call it, you have the mirrors, you have the brake fluid. That's nothing related, something to do with Garmin. Ignore it. Another brake fluid. And now for the nicer stuff. Let me open up the dashboard and I'll tell you about many things. So that was the fuel tank syncing up. You can ignore it. Throttle felt good all the way. A little bit too open for my taste, but it was pretty nice. That's where you start the motorcycle, and because I'm a neutral, I can do it like that. And it started. Beneath that, you have your parking light or your road light, which, by the way, if you see, you can see that there is an automatic option. I don't know how it works. It just pops whenever it wants. So if I'm pressing on it, you can see it changing the light from road to parking, but then the automatic lights are gone. So I don't know. Thank you, Ducati. And on the left, that's changing between menus, and that's the high beam, normal beam, again high beam. Changing menus, we'll get to that in a second, and a horn, which sounds like a tiny car. So about the menu, I don't like how it was integrated, because this keycap. Sorry, I forgot what it means. It just, well, you know, turn left and turn right, but it's also the menu. If I'm pressing long on it, it gets to the modes: touring, sport, urban, and exit. But it also being used if I'm like changing my trips. Let's go to trip 1, time, and I want to reset it. I click on it once and I click on it twice. So it's not really intuitive, and some of it can be a little bit annoying to be used. About the fuel tank and the capacity. So basically this one has 14 liters available, which is quite nice, and I really like this part. See, it sounds really you can play with it all day. This part is steel, so if the motorcycle gets heated up, this one is heated up as well. It's already pretty warm for the touch. This one is plastic and this one is plastic, so if you ever fall on your left or your right side, you can replace it for pretty cheap. But if you're scratching this part, well, good luck. With each tank, I've done about 180 or 200 kilometers, which is awesome. On my Z900, I did like 150 tops with every ride. So it's a really economical bike, and that's a really useful thing to have. Now about the exterior. Here we have, I think I've missed this button, but basically it's an emergency light, so it turns on all lights. But if you go to the back, you can see that it's much beautiful like that. It's not just blinking, just turn right, turn left, and it slides the part where it needs. It's on the front as well, and it's really, really beautiful to see, especially at night. One thing I forgot to add about the seat, and that while riding, basically in the city, while it's hot outside, the whole area, this part especially, I can barely touch it, this steel part, and this steel part, and this steel part, all are getting heated up, which means you can just sit here and get your bum lit up because of the hot steel. So it's something that you should get used to. If you can avoid riding this motorcycle on the streets on a hot day, trust me, don't, because it's really, really hot and you have to just pick up your bum, get some airflow, and it should be better to the rider. Because it's a rental bike, it came with those baggage holder. They're not looking the greatest from the far, but it's like a slider, so if you ever fall on the side, it just protects your little motorcycle. But you know what is almost the best part in Ducati? Well, it's the sound. So let me show you, or let me give you a hear of what it sounds like. So let's start it up, shall we? You can hear in the video a rattling sound. That's because usually Ducatis are using what's called dry clutch. And what the dry clutch is just using without oil. So it sounds like, and that's fine. You are getting used to it while having this type of a motorcycle. And the sound is great. That's type of a motorcycle you can't ignore. You can ever ignore in a parking garage, in a parking spots, in meetings. It's a wonderful bike, beautiful bike, and yeah. So what do we think, and what was my experience with riding the Ducati Monster 937? Well, there are many positive parts, which just I rode it for 1,000 kilometers and I never had any back pain. I had a little bit of hand grips pain, but that's something that you get used to. And some some parts, when I had like to ride around, my right foot was a little bit cramped, but fine. But overall, beautiful, wonderful bike to have long trips. Really, I'm serious. There is no pain except from the butt, but again, you get used to it. And that's basically it. Top speed is well above 200. With this one, I rode the, let's say 220. I know it's not something to brag about, but well, if you're getting this type of a motorcycle, you're probably running at least once this type of speeds. For $20,000, I think you should go with another motorcycle. But if you can find it for cheaper, let's say you can find it cheaper, more cheaper than the MT-09 and the Z900, you should go for it. It's a wonderful bike. It has big fuel tank, comfortable seating, the looks, the quality, the sounds. It's overall good motorcycle, trust me. The biggest downside that I can find about this motorcycle is that steel, and that steel, so the whole seat gets heated up. But if you're riding on a highway or at night, you can ignore it because then you have a little bit of heat beneath your legs. So I think that was it. I hope I've answered most of your questions. And if you have any question, do let me know. I'll be happy to answer you in the comments. It was a pleasure using the Ducati, and hopefully another day I have another Ducati to ride and give a test. But it was fun, and yeah, overall great motorcycle. So thank you, and see you with another video.